According to Hollywood Reporter, Sterling, we've got some news around yet another series in development, and it's around Princess Nymeria, the Princess of Dorne, and George R. R. Martin. According to the Hollywood Reporter, I'm going to get your thoughts, but real quick, he basically commented on this in development series, and he mentioned that they have a writer for the series, Ebony Booth, who's won the Pulitzer Prize. Doesn't really have any experience, I don't believe, in TV or movies, but has written some plays. And George has commented about, she's an amazingly talented young playwright, a joy to work with. When not writing and producing her Pulitzer Prize-winning plays on and off Broadway, she's been kept busy by me and HBO working on a new pilot for 10,000 Ships, a Game of Thrones spinoff about Nymeria and the Rhoynar. So while we're talking about Nymeria and the 10,000 Ships, do us a big favor. Smash that like button. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about this news from George R. R. Martin. And most importantly, hit subscribe so we can continue to grow our channel. You haven't really read the books, and so I know you're not as familiar with the Rhoynar and Nymeria, but give me your first impressions of another series. We know we have Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and we have House of the Dragon that's going to be another 3 seasons, including the one that starts this Sunday. What do you think about 10,000 Ships, which will largely be on the seas around Essos and eventually to Dorne? Do you like this idea, or do you want to see something else first? What do you think about the news?
I think there's a lot of other stories I'd rather be told before this.
Give me some ideas of some of the stories for people that have seen the show, read the books, or both.
Aegon's Conquest, Blackfire Rebellion, the Battle of the Trident, Robert's Rebellion. There's so many different major events. I did read up on this because you told me about it. It's basically how Dorne was started.
So,
from my understanding,
yeah. So it's around 1,000 years before the events of Game of Thrones, and Nymeria is she's a Rhoynar, and so they're river-faring people, and they get into a battle, a war with the Valyrian Freehold. And for those that know the name Valyria, the doom of old Valyria, before Valyria fell.
So this would take place before anything.
Yeah. So there's hundreds of dragons in Valyria, and the Targaryens are not a prominent house in old Valyria. And so, her people can't sustain, the Rhoynar, the Rhoynish War. They can't sustain against the Valyrian Freefold. So they end up getting defeated, and she ends up taking all her people from Nysar, and she flees on the ships, and then she comes back. And so there's adventures around it. You're dealing with pirates, and you're dealing with different parts of lands that you'll see, and then she makes her way back to found what becomes Dorne, right? She marries Martell, which begins the House Martell and Sunspear. And it's really her story around what became the present day in Westeros Dorne. And so strong female character. I would personally rather see Robert's Rebellion and see what led up to that around the Mad King and around the Battle of the Trident, and see a young Robert, young Ned, Rhaegar Targaryen.
Yeah,
I'd rather see all that, and basically the handing of the Blue Rose to Lyanna Stark, and I'd like to see all that. Obviously, I think we're going to see Aegon's Conquest, and then obviously the Blackfire Rebellion. I think would be cool, and I personally would love to see a series on Maegor the Cruel. Like, I really would love to see that. So there's things that I would choose over this, but we don't know if this is officially going to be a live action or animated. The problem, and George points this out in the Hollywood Reporter interview, how are they going to pay for budget-wise and show 10,000 ships, 300 dragons, giant turtles, and all the places they're going to go and dealing with pirates in the lands? This could be extremely expensive.
You could do one season, couldn't you?
I don't think so. Not if they're going to flesh it out and tell the story right. I think it would be longer than that. I think it would be multiple seasons. But I
think they're reaching a little bit.
Yeah, look, as you expand this world out, I don't think people are going to love everything. So this is the first thing that I saw that I thought, do I really want to see this? Obviously seeing old Valyria and seeing the Rhoynar and seeing parts of Essos and 300 dragons, that would be cool. But there's other things I want to see first, around stories around that. So, as we're on the eve of House of the Dragon Season 2, which I think everybody's excited for, it's this is not surprising that we would see other things possibly greenlit or news around developments around the IP of Westeros and Essos and the things that George R. R. Martin has created. Because, look, it's a cash cow for them right now. You see all the banners and things that they're putting around marketing for House of the Dragon Season 2. This thing is going to smash the ratings. It's going to smash it. So they're going to want to capitalize on that. Final thoughts on George R. R. Martin. You think it's just one more thing that he's, is going to keep him as an excuse for never doing any more books?
Yeah, he's got so many spin-off series, and he still hasn't finished the core story that everybody's been waiting for. So, yeah, I don't know.
And we've got Night of the Seven Kingdoms filming. They're doing production shots right now, and so the principal photography takes place in less than 30 days on Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is Dunk and Egg, the Hedge Knight
I feel like I want to see stories that are a little closer together, though. Like with House of the Dragon, you can be like, well, that's 170 years before Game of Thrones. And
Night of the Seven Kingdoms is in between House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones.
I kind of like that because it gives you, an idea of like how the characters were related. When you go so far back, it's just kind of hard to really, I don't know. There's so much material there. They can build out series for decades to come, honestly. But
and look, it sounds right now like we're going to get Aegon's conquest before 10,000 ships. So we'll kind of see how this plays out.
That to me is one of the most interesting ones.
Yeah,
by far, I'd rather see the Black Dread and all that. I think that's
Balerion. The first time you see Balerion, I think it'll be awesome. And who plays Visenya and Rhaenys and Aegon, and Oris Baratheon. There's so many different great characters around Aegon's conquest. So, but we're going to cover it. Look, anything that George R. R. Martin puts out, especially if it's going to show up on HBO or Max, we're going to cover it. So, look, who knows? They may cast this, and we may see a trailer and say, this looks phenomenal. And so we'll be here to cover it, and let us know what you think. And while you're doing that, smash the like button. Hit the notifications bell for future content. And most importantly, hit subscribe so we can continue to grow our channel.